Oh, yep. Dirt. Okay, I'll fix that. Trolls are going to have a field day with that spot. It's not dirt, though. That's a scab. I got that rear-ended, and I had to readjust my trunk latch to get the trunk to shut. If you look really close, you'll see that's not dirt. That's actually, look at that. Tore my finger to hell and back. See, it's not dirt? Okay. All right, Hygiene 101's over with. Torp here. The things that we have to go through. So, I was waiting for an inspiration to make a video, and I finally found one. Here's what it is. I went to Eli's Live, and then I also watched, this is the best, this is funny right here. I actually watched also Gig Apps Exposed video replaying Cherry's number 22. You guys are really making me work hard at this shit. All these damn fucking changes. And I remember the good old days where you could just make a fucking video about somebody and I have to fucking repeat 19,000 fucking names and channel changes. Oh, God. And we didn't even talk about hygiene back then. I mean, we were all dirty fucking scumbags, you know? And now all of a sudden everybody's got to be fucking Alice in Wonderland with silver slippers in order to fucking be right. Shit drives me nuts. It's like, when the fuck did this become about cleanliness? I thought we were talking about real issues. I don't know if that was a derail or not. All right, here's the point. I heard everything that Cherry said about Brian tonight. Always cherry pick. Trip. That was a trip. That was a total trip. This is the guy that's supposed to be a part of the Elite 40. Supposed to be a guy that knows something that nobody else knows. How does he respond when people find out about what he's talking about because his mouth is bigger than his fucking brain? I don't even know if that means anything. They're both pretty small, apparently. So why does that mean anything? If he's going to badmouth Brian, he's got to bring Jesus into it? What the fuck does that have to do with dashing? What does that have to do with gig work if it's going to bring Jesus into it? I heard 2 channels talk about Jesus tonight. I'm like, Jesus Christ. What are you guys... Stop it. Stop bashing Jesus. Stop bashing something positive. If you don't think it's positive, apparently Buddhism isn't positive either. Because I don't remember the last time one religion said, we're so right, everybody else needs to be killed and squished. And they're wrong. That's not what religion's about, man. So as I was listening, I was like, and then he says he was gonna fuck Brian's wife. I'm like, well, Brian doesn't have a wife, and if he does, he's kept it secret. So I'm like, again, what does that have to do with gig work? Do you see the big derail on the 40, the Elite 40, that made up thing that they did? Do you see the big derail there? I'm like, wow, they are so derailing us right now. It's kind of funny. I don't know if I want to laugh at it, but it's good. Well, it's kind of fun. It's funny. It's kind of funny. It's gross, and it's negligent as a human being to do something like that when you're supposed to be in the gig economy. Let's beat up Jesus and beat up somebody else's wife. God almighty, where have we gone with this thing? But Eli was talking about something tonight that really interests me. It came out of nowhere. It's like an hour and a half into his live. He pulled a Jeff Thomas Black is what he did. And he made a really good point almost 2 hours into it. I'm like, come on, man. Would you guys quit making me wait that long? So I'm listening to it, and he's talking about shop and deliver on Doordash. Okay, now we're going to get to some gig work shit. And before you get bored, trust me, this is going somewhere. Eli was talking about the shoplifters are actually Doordash. I happen to agree with that. The terminology is correct, because how many of you have been doing Doordash for a while and been doing the shop and delivers, especially the ones of you that get to do Dash anytime for a whole week? If you complete those 11 to whatever orders that there are, that are required in your market, and then you do them, and some people, I've heard from comments, they say, I did mine and I still didn't get it. They said I needed 13 or 12 or whatever it was, and they said I only did 10. I'm like, I get that because I've been through that. But the worst part is, this is where I think the shoplifting part comes in. They know full good and well, because I hear it on YouTube all the time. How many people have talked about item is not available, item out of stock, you know? And you can't help that. You can't do anything about that as a dasher. You have zero control. You can talk to the staff. You can like fucking even talk to the customer, which we all do that are doing it right. You can talk to the customer and you can say, hey, I'm going to take a shelf picture. And I try to do that shit without the app. I just send them a picture anyway. Here it is. This is what's available. This is where the product is supposed to be, but this is what's next to it. This is what you can have if you want it. I can make that happen for you. This is what pisses me off. Even if I try to do that, even when I do that, if I say item unavailable, how many of you had this happen? You say item is unavailable, and boop, item is automatically refunded. That's the shoplifting part, in my opinion. It gives the dasher no opportunity to fix the problem. If the item is out of stock, and they tell us that we're supposed to be responsible, and you see that now on the Shop and Deliver app, what happens? They say, take a photo of the shelf. It's like, I've already taken 2 and I sent them through. And now you're going to blame me because I did that before you automatically refunded the customer for that item. Automatically. And here's another part. I go to checkout, and I'm on my way to checkout, and the customer comes back to me and says, you know what? I would like that item. But once you proceed to checkout on the app, you hit that tab. Doesn't matter if you restart your phone, doesn't matter what you do. I don't give a fuck about airplane modes, garbage. Nothing you can do. You can't go back and put that item back in. Maybe it would be best on Doordash if they let the dasher handle this with the customer. We're the ones that are talking to them. We're the ones that are making them happy. It's got nothing to do with Doordash. They just handle the order. We are the contractor on this order. And what we do can either break or make that order. And Doordash is breaking that shit down to where we can't do that. That's what pisses me off. I'm like, now wait a minute. Why can't I go back after proceed to checkout and fix that? Doordash would make their money. The customer would be happy. I'd get 100% completion or fill rate, and they won't let that happen. That's where the shoplifting comes in from Doordash on my end. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of shoplifting. This is like you're forcing the dasher not to get a 100% fill rate. You're forcing the dasher to get a bad customer rating. You're forcing the dasher to feel like shit because it's like the item that they want is here. Why won't you let me get it for them? Then you can make the whole fill rate. I can make the whole fill rate and everybody's happy. This shit doesn't work like that anymore. And then they tell you that if you do that, that's like a terms of service or something because you're trying to manipulate the system. I'm like, how am I manipulating the system if I'm making the customer happy? It goes right along the same thing with what's going on in this YouTube community right now, this gig community that we're in. When we have the good guys and the bad guys, as people like to call them, when we have the haters and we have the fucking appreciators, it's like, how many times are we going to have to go through this and not get anywhere? I mean, at what point are we just going to simply give up? Does the loudest voice win? Does the most edited video win? Does the one that says they know more about how to use the Doordash app than you do win? Even knowing that their way has nothing to do with your market and never will. Ever. I heard UDM and Flex talk about that on Sherry's Live. And I'm like, UDM, honestly, dude, seriously. I mean, come on. You got a massive following. And you're still the calmest guy in the room when it comes to telling people, well, my listeners are telling me this. I don't know about it, but they're telling me this. And then I heard Flex goes, yeah. It's not the quality of it. It's the flow of the orders. It's the flow. I'm like, bro, what the fuck, if anything, is Flex talking about when he's talking about flow? Dude, it doesn't matter about the flow if there's no go. If you don't have anybody ordering, or if you have people ordering and you have too many drivers, then what the fuck difference does the flow make? What matters is what DoorDash is going to do for you, Mr. Lopper. I have so many comments on other channels that I've been responding to that aren't even in this community, but they're getting closer to it, that are asking me, why am I talking to them? I'm like, because you know about this and you want to ignore it, just like Pedro did and, Sin Cities did, but they can no longer ignore it. And these guys aren't going to either, because Glitchgate is real. It's going to stay real. Just like all these problems aren't going away, just because Pedro and Flex and UDM are very calm and collective, and Cherry is the loudest voice in the room right now. He's a Karen on fucking adrenaline. He's clearly I don't know, I'd like to mix those two words, but since I can't, he's on heroin. He's a Karen on heroin. He's a Karen on heroin. That's what always Cherry Pick is a Karen on heroin. The whole fucking drug talk about addiction and shit, I'm like, the whole fucking thing on fucking Flex has always been about pot, drinking, and fucking smoking, whatever. And they send their trolls out talking to you about addiction. It's the same fucking thing, in my opinion, that double standard, that fucking stupid shit that they come up with to try to fucking derail you. Guys, we're all on the same page. We got many people here that smoke cigarettes, drink beer, smoke pot, God knows what else. But we're all drivers, or we were drivers, or we hate the system, or we love the system, or the system works, or the system doesn't work. Where I think the fault comes in is when we all start just hating on each other, not the point, not the actual point of dashing or gig work. See, that's been lost. I think that's why some people are saying it the way they're saying it. It's like, what the fuck, if anything, does this have to do with anything? Well, the truth be told, it doesn't. But now I'm starting to see some points come back into play, and those points are like about DoorDash. Those points are about gig work. Those points are about like, oh my God, Cherry's a funny guy. He's not that bad. I know him. He's a really cool guy. It's like, yeah, that's the guy I want to hang out with at a barbecue with. I want him to tell me that he's going to bang my wife if I don't bring him another beer. He's just the perfect gentleman for that. Oh, Jesus Christ, I need a beer. Every time I think about Cherry, it gives me a fucking headache. This guy right here started Glitchgate, and I'll tell you why he did. Because he is the one that leaked it to Jeff Thomas Black. Irrelevant how that happened, but that did happen. Jeff Thomas Black picked it up. That's where this all started at. Brian took it from there. And I kind of finished it up with some fucking tongue lash. Drink with me. Follow me, camera. The point is this. We got derailed a little bit. But when I heard Eli bring up shop and deliver being a problem because DoorDash was shoplifting, I was like, man, that made a lot of sense to me. That was so fucking on point. Because that's a real problem. The real problem is not whether or not Cherry is a douchebag or he's a liar or he's screaming the loudest as he can yell right now to get people off of his fucking dirty tracks and forget where he came from and all that shit. And the fact that the lounge is failing miserably. That's not the point. The point is that we figured out what they were doing. We got mad. We pointed it out. They got madder. And we've been going back and forth. Ever since we've been going back and forth, it's been a very personal thing. Personal attacks. I don't remember the last time somebody brought up anything about what kind of phone do you use? Why doesn't it work for you? Are you still glitching? Not the Glitchgate glitch. Not that glitch, but I mean glitching period. Because mine's glitching like a motherfucker. I get updates on some days twice. But at least every other day. But on some days it's twice. I'm like, what the hell if anything's going on? Because my app is still glitching. I send the customer the photo. They don't get it. That's been going on for weeks now. They don't get my photo. On the porch, they don't get it. I have no customer response. There's nothing in there. When I go to say your your order has arrived, like I would normally do. I can't even do that. I have no way to respond to the customer after the drop-off. Can't even call them. Their name's not on the list. When you hit messages, there's nothing there. It's been that way for weeks. And I saw that over there on his Doordash down. People are complaining about this all over the place. So yeah, the bigger fish to fry is what they're doing to the dashers on Doordash. It's not so much what the dashers are doing to each other. We're doing this to each other because Doordash itself is a broken system at the moment, and it doesn't need to be. And I think that's why we're all mad. I think we're taking our frustrations out on the system. The very system that brought us all together, by the way. Peace out on that one, right? Now, I saw another comment today about Cincinnati sucked. Yes, it did, because Northern Kentucky sucked. It was bad today. I mean, no, it was, the last 2 days have been terrible, awful. I'm a top dasher and it was still bad. You know what I did? I flipped the script. First time, well, second time I did it. I'll tell you what, pay per order worked. Not pay per order, it was pay per, really? Pay per time. Pay per time, that worked. I didn't want to do it, but I thought I got to try something because this ain't working. Am I going to have to just shut this off and go to something else? That shit kicked ass today. Pay per time worked today. It really did. Because I know that they know me. I know that they know me. And I run my market like it's my job. I do. I run it like it's my job. They got my algorithm. They know me. And I'm like, you want me to take these orders and not show me the pay? You want me to take these orders and just see the miles? I could do that. I had 3 no-tip orders, and I got stuck in traffic, and I got stuck at the merchant like I always do. That's why I usually avoid those if I can. I actually made more money. I never thought about that. If you do pay per time, you get paid for waiting. You know how many fucking pay per jobs I've done where I've had to drive 10 miles to stay top dasher and I get that fucking big old $8? I got $23 for 20 minutes today doing pay per time. Unfucking believable. They stuck a no tip with a banger. The next one was $15 for the hour, and I was like, oh, there's your average. The next one was 20, I think it was 25, and that was for like 45 minutes. I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I think they're trying to tell us something, folks. They want us on pay per time. I think this has a lot to do with Prop 21, unless it's Prop 22 in California. I'm sorry if I fucked that up. But I think it's got something to do with that. They want us on that, and I can see it now because I think I was pushed into it today. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., first time this has ever happened, I made $40. $40. That's $10 an hour. I made almost $60 an hour from, what was it, 12:15 to I think it was 3:30, 4 o'clock. I was like, well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. And I was busy, man. I was running. It was awesome. I thought every time I got stuck, I'm getting paid. And it did work, all right? So there's your pay per time. In my market, it worked. But, yes, to get back to Eli's point about whether or not do we think that Doordash is shoplifting on shop and delivers, I say yes, because we get screwed. I've heard many people talk about this. We get screwed. You're fighting for that because you want to take these lowball offers to find 6 items for $2.25 going 3 miles just to get that dash anytime. And then DoorDash tries to sell us on that because they know we want it. Even though we're top dashers and we don't need it, we'll still do them because we don't want to lose an acceptance rate point. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm like, yeah, that's shoplifting the fucking dasher is what that is. It's not shoplifting the store, it's shoplifting the dasher. Title of this video, shoplifting the dasher. I love it. Now that's real. That's as real as it fucking gets. And if this video falls on flat ears, I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you why. It's time we bought some real back into this. I'm tired of talking about hating on Jesus and hating on wives and hating on fucking anything personal. Why did personal ever become a part of this? I will never know. But it does seem to fucking make its way into these fucking trolls and haters. They love that shit, and that builds up your algorithm. That's a sick part on YouTube's part. Why they allow that shit and make that a part of it, I have no idea. But that doesn't mean we have to abide by it. Lose 200 views. Who gives a fuck? Like me and Brian, we ain't getting paid for this. Me and the Doordash Revolution, we ain't getting paid for this. You might want to think about that when you're watching certain channels. When we ain't getting paid to say something, maybe there's a reason why we're saying it. Maybe we care about other drivers. Maybe we care about the truth. Maybe we're here trying to find others that are feeling the same pain. And when we do that, sometimes we got to fight off these motherfuckers that are completely, insanely, completely out of control, have no goddamn clue what reality is. And when they get called out, they just make shit worse. They've been lying to us for a long time, and we found out about it, and yeah, we got fucking mad. You know? We got mad. That's what you're hearing now. Just to explain things in plain English. We got mad. When you get lied to, when you get cheated, you get mad. So we got mad. Best part is, when we got mad this time, we brought it to everybody else. It wasn't personal. It was an awakening. Torp out.